I am joined now by Arun Leslie John from Dubai, Chief Market Analyst at Century Financial. Welcome, Arun, to the show. Everyone is looking now at the figures coming from the US specifically because 4 out of 10 millionaires around the world live in the US. That is why we keep an eye on their spending when we want to look at the luxury market specifically, and when we say that it is slumping. Why do you think?
So, a major reason for the declining US sales of luxury companies like LVMH, Kering, or Richemont, it can be blamed on the aspirational customer. Aspirational customer is basically in the luxury good industry is referred to those customers who buy luxury products which are at the low end of the price range. So these customers had bought in a lot of goods during the pandemic time, partly due to the expansion monetary supply, so they had more money at their disposal. So these customers, they have pulled back. Now, what could be the reasons for the pullback of these customers? Obviously, the low-end customers, even they are the luxury customers, so they have some wealth with them. It might not be a decline in wealth, but their incomes might have been impacted a bit during the last one and a half years. During the period of due to high inflation and due to the interest rate hikes by the Federal Reserve. So what we have seen is one of the most aggressive rate hikes in the US history in recent times. So this could have led to a rise in the interest expense of these high income customers, as well as the high inflation might have increased their living costs as well. So even though the wealth of these people might not have declined, their incomes might have been impacted a bit. So it is highly likely that these customers, they have cut back on their purchases, which could be the reason for the decline in US sales.
Sir, it might be that the COVID phase, and when sales increased for these companies and for this sector, maybe it was an isolated or an exceptional case that will not be repeated, given that there were a lot of savings maybe with these people, maybe because there was a lot of assistance as well from governments given, and maybe they were spent on these types of luxurious products. So now we are comparing these figures. Are we comparing it to a high base, or is it just a trend that started even before COVID?
So there are multiple dimensions to the luxury boom that happened in United States during the COVID era. First of all, the major macro trend was that the US Federal Reserve, along with the major central banks of the world, they pumped in a lot of liquidity to the market through quantitative easing. They reduced the interest rates to zero. So and plus the US government also did a lot of stimulus programs. They paid checks to many households. So this increased the amount of money available with the US household. The savings increased at that point of time. So which a part of it resulted in increase in the purchase of low-end luxury goods. So the low-end luxury good consumer was very much quoted by the major companies like LVMH, Kering, etc. So that resulted in a boom in the US luxury market during at that point of time. Now the second part is that the major luxury companies, the LVMH, the Kering and these kind of companies, they targeted or courted these kind of customers to increase their sales. So when we talk about luxury products, we associate some kind of exclusivity with them. I mean, luxury is a bit rare, So it is consumed generally by the wealthy segment. But as a change of strategy, during the past few years, the low-end consumer was also targeted very much. So that was also an additional factor in the boom of luxury goods sales in the US as well as Europe during this particular point of time. Now, with the change in the monetary policy, with the monetary policy tightening, the fiscal stimulus going away, the savings of households have taken a hit, and these companies have been disproportionately impacted. So those companies which are depending a lot on the low-end US consumer for the luxury goods sales, they have been impacted a lot. But on the other hand, those companies which have been truly dependent upon the truly luxurious customer, the highly wealthy households, like for example, the Hermes to the Birkenbank, these kind of companies that have not been that much impacted. If you see the Hermes sale, they have.
Sir, can we say that this phenomenon today can be isolated? I mean, that this category of people will stop spending, I mean, in the luxury sector, or are they signals that we can see to impact the rest of the economy, knowing that the consumer price information and consumer trust information came better than expected?
In the near term, it would be tough to see a comeback of the aspirational customer in the US market, primarily because the macro trends are very much stacked up against them. So in the near term, I mean, we don't see a comeback of this particular set of customers. I mean, for them to come back to the market, there'll have to be more stability. The interest rates will have to come down. Their savings will have to improve. So there's a lot of uncertainty with regard to the economy. So in the near term, certainly we don't see that customer coming back.
Arun Leslie John, thank you very much for being with us today, sir.
Thanks a lot. Welcome.